Live from somewhere in Southern California, it's Saddle Up with Steve and Jay right here on Horse Racing World Channel. Joined as usual by Mr. Steve Pollock. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Jay. I just trying to maintain myself right now. This is it for a horse player. This is about as exciting as it gets. It's at my home track here at Del Mar, and it's been a rocky road for me this year and in the Breeders' Cup in the past. I've had some great days. I've had some bad days. Boy, I'm ready for a good one, and I'm so excited to talk about this Breeders' Cup with you. We're gonna go over the Classic, which is, boy, that's the big story. I'll let you talk about that, but it's still a good betting race. We're still going to talk about that race, and we've got plenty to talk about, and we've got a guest to talk about as well.
We do, Steve, because this is a guest that is well known to former listeners to the Inside Racing radio show. But for those of you who joined us during the Kentucky Derby push, where we picked up a lot of subscribers and never heard the show from around the country, we'd like to welcome to the show former Fox Sports Radio horse racing and boxing writer and longtime host of the Inside Radio program, Inside Racing program, the actual Racing Jason. He does exist. It's not a famous guy like Famous Amos. He's a real person. Jason Levin, welcome to the show.
Oh, that intro got me. Sorry. Oh, thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be a guest. That's all I can say. All the responsibility is yours. I'm here to have fun. I echo whatever Steve said there. I mean, this is, I don't know. I started handicapping a couple days ago, and my heart rate went up, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm in. I'm back. This is just yeah, it's Christmas for a horse player. So to have it at Del Mar again, great, and really excited to dig in a little bit with you guys and talk about Breeders' Cups in general, Del Mar, Friday, the Classic, the karma that hit the Classic. Don't pass the Preakness when you win the Derby. Don't do it. Don't. You shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, it is a shame. The whole complexion of the race has changed a little bit. Some of you might have seen that in the news, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the Classic at the end of this program. As you can see, I am rooting for my home team, which my two compatriots here don't give a rat's about, but the LA Dodgers are still in it for at least another couple of games. And we're going to do a series of shows here. We're going to do a pair of them, and I will be wearing this shirt again on the Friday night show. I am not giving up, even though they're
Oh,
down 6-1.
There you
please,
go.
please, come on.
Yeah. So, Jason, just kind of curious how you've been enjoying retirement, what you've been up to?
Yeah, I've been playing golf. Um, Had to get my health in order. That took a while, but I'm good now, and doing a little consulting for education stuff. So working a day or two a week, that's good. And otherwise, just enjoying life. Everything is fine. I'm a little young to be retired, so I don't really know what to do with myself some days, but I figure it out.
Yeah, sure you will. So, we've been hearing a lot about this card. A lot of people have said this is the best Breeders' Cup card they've seen in several years. What are your overall impressions, both of you, of the quality of this card and the entries in the various races?
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, this is what we're waiting for. When you go day after day. I just got finished handicapping the Thursday card out at Del Mar, and it is what it is. I mean, it's not even a good Thursday card. It's just, and then all of a sudden, especially because you're looking at the Friday and the Saturday cards, just tremendous racing. I thought the undercard races were very, very good. And before I get to anything else, because I think this is just so important, I really want to stress this to the folks. There is a huge handicapping tournament, and all these entrants are the top handicappers in the country. They're going to bet 10,000 of their hard-earned dollars. A lot of them qualified, but they still have $10,000. They have $7,500 to bet with. And these people are going to have to bet $600 per race. And I think there's going to be somewhere between 600 and 800 people in the tournament. These people are going to be betting a lot of money on everything in the pool. And what you want to do, folks, is try to bet what they're not betting. And the reason you want to do that is because you're taking out a lot of the best players. And the bet that is really there for the taking, because I think the pick 4, pick 5, and pick 6 are harder for the smaller bettors. They have made the pick three into $1. They have had pick threes for 50 cents before. Del Mar has changed it and made it $1. I'm a little bit disappointed for the normal guy because you can really easily buy a race for 50 cents. That being said, it's $1. So if you're a little bigger better, you should be thankful for that. But I think the pick three is one bet you should really, really look at. A lot of the exactas, a lot of the win bets are going to come down and they're going to come down late. So be aware of that, guys. I think the pick three is perhaps your best chance to roll the pick threes through this card, the best chance to make money. And I think you should be thinking about it on every single level. If you've got a race that's impossible, buy it. If you've got one horse that you're thinking about betting to win, and that's the third leg, 3 by all in a 12-horse field or a 14-horse field is just a $36 bet to have that single on the end where you can really make some money. And that $36, maybe on a 5-to-1 that's a single or a 10-to-1 that's a single, you're going to make a lot more money in that pick three than you would on the win bet. So I'm really stressing, and I'm going to do that on my line, folks. For those of you who don't know, Jay and I put up a information every day, and we're going to obviously have selections for both Breeders' Cup days. Pick three is really going to be the thing I'm going to stress because I have seen in the payouts since this BCBC has come in to play that the payouts in the pick three are value, whereas a lot of these exactas get bet down very late. The win pool is a little bit shaky. The doubles are just awful in comparison to the pick threes. In fact, if you want to play a double and you really like 2 horses, play all to single. You're better off doing that than you are betting those 2 horses straight.
Steve, quick question for you. Are you talking about the Del Mar meet in general? Because I am looking right now at the past performances from Brisnet, and they're still listing for the Breeders' Cup races anyway. They're still calling that a 50-cent minimum. Were you talking about the Del Mar races at the general meet?
Well, I don't know if it's just for Breeders' Cup that they made it $1. The menu that I looked at, and I hope I'm wrong, because if it's 50 cents, that's really a good thing. I would rather it be 50 cents for the normal fan because they're going to be able to get involved more in this pick three. So I did look today and I did see $1. If you're seeing 50 cents, maybe we need to validate that. But I really think it's important one way or the other. Find out what it is. If you are a little bit bigger, better, play it for $1, play it for $5, play it for $10, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever your bankroll is. I think that pick three is something you should really take advantage of because you're eliminating all these people. And I can guarantee you, everybody that's playing in that tournament isn't going to make one pick three bet the whole tournament. And these are the top players in the country. They're all very good players. If you're taking them out of the pool, you're moving up. And for those of us that have been playing lately, we know how competitive and how good the players are in these pools. So this is very important. And I just think the pick three is something that we should really all take advantage of.
Okay, so it is a 50-cent trifecta on Breeders' Cup.
But not pick three.
No, I'm showing pick three as well, Steve, but maybe not for the tournament.
50 cents.
50 cent try and 50 cent pick three.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the trifecta, the players in the tournament can play that. But if you can do the 50 cent pick three, that's great news. What I read in the Del Mar website was improper, which is great. So I'm serious. And again, folks, if you've got a little bit bigger bankroll or you really like a horse, you're going to your play of the day, bump it to $1 or $2 or $3 or whatever. But that 50 cent play for you normal players out there, that is a great way to go. If you look at a race and you go, man, this is impossible. Hey, play it. You got 14 horses. You're yelling for come on anybody. You got 9 of the horses, 10 of the horses, and all you want is a price. And how many times in Breeders' Cup have we seen $100 horses?
Yeah. No, they can all run. So that's the thing. They're all in there with a chance on their best day if things break crazy. And it happens pretty much every year. So
Yeah,
Jason, I would add one thing.
Yeah.
The Breeders' Cup is unique because every race appears to be a great wagering opportunity, but it's not. Some races aren't great betting races, just the way the race plays out. But some are, and you have more opportunities on Breeders' Cup. I guess what I'm getting to is if you really like a race a lot, and you like a particular horse or 2 horses, or you like a long shot, go after that race. Put a good chunk of your bankroll in that race where your best opinion is. I know all the guys are playing and the prices may be down a little bit, but it's still Breeders' Cup. The pools are huge, and if you're right, you're going to get paid. So, I think go with your really strong opinions and go strongly, because a lot of people get caught up in playing every race. Oh, this is a great race. Here's another race. I got to play it, and that's just not the case. So just be careful that way.
Steve, I want to talk to you about bias. You are perhaps the foremost bias specialist in Southern California, and you certainly know the Del
Yeah.
Mar track and turf course like the back of your hand. So tell me, how do you think these will play? We're in the fall meet now, but the weather is still pretty warm. It's pretty much summer weather. Does the fall meet play different than the summer meet? And what should we look for as far as the various distances and the various surfaces?
You got it, Jay. Those are a really good question. This last Breeders' Cup, I really felt like there were some closers that had more of an opportunity than they did. We saw horses closing on Breeders' Cup Day, and then as soon as the Breeders' Cup ended, we saw a lot of speed the rest of the meet. Maybe it's because the field's shortened out. I would encourage you to really look a little bit race by race, because the one thing I can say is Del Mar can become as outside with big fields as outside can be. And by the time they get to the Breeders' Cup Sprint, the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint, you should know whether that track is playing inside or outside, or whether it's all speed or it's closers, because there are some races that really look like, if you figure the bias out, that it's going to set up for that, and I might change what I'm doing. There's a horse named Kimura. She's running in the sprint. She's on the rail. It's 14 horses. It's an amazingly talented horse. I think Richard Mandela entered the horse in the race for his other horse, Tamara, to have a better chance, because Tamara's out of Beholder. And I just think Richard Mandela, who's a great, great trainer, might have made a decision based on having all of his team have the best chance. And then Kimura draws the rail in a 14-horse race. Here's the deal. And again, you and I are going to talk about the Breeders' Cup Sprint on our next show. Here's the deal, folks. If you watch the first few races and you're seeing all outside numbers and you're seeing horses loop to the outside, nobody's running on the inside, guess what? Kimura is a 7-2 shot that's going to really not have a chance. If you see that horses are running fine on the inside and they're closing, and that's the way Del Mar is now. But the thing about when you have 14 horses is that starting gate is going to start right next to the rail. So no matter what, gosh, Kimura got a bad draw. And I was really excited about watching her run against the boys. But man, oh man, and I actually think she's the best horse in the race. But I don't know how she's going to win from the rail. And I got to tell you, a lot of my tickets are probably not even going to include her because of that rail draw. But there are some races early in the card. If you watch, especially that day, there's a really nice sprint early in the card. I would definitely check that race out for bias, because there's a horse on the rail in that race that looks like a closer, and there's all speed outside of him. See how that horse does. I believe that's race 1 or 2. In fact, I'll look back here in a second and let you know what race that is. But you want to see how this track is playing before you really get into to those sprint races, because this track will change. I think the route races are going to be pretty fair. And I'll tell you this, folks, I don't mind being drawn outside. I think Fierceness drew pretty poorly again. It's not a great draw to be inside in the route races. The outside is really good at Del Mar, and horses run from out there, and they tend to spread out, and a lot of the fields are going to spread out because there is speed. So I would say, wait and see, but especially the route races, it's definitely okay to be outside. You're thinking about ground save. Del Mar's not a real ground saving track on either distance on that main track.
Yeah, Steve. So, as you know, a couple of the big favorites, one of them odds on, Precise and Justad, both from Aidan O'Brien and Christophe Sommillon, they both drew the far outside going a mile in their turf races. And as you probably know from looking at the last summer meet statistics, post 8 and out only drew 5% wins at a mile. It's a little better a mile and a 16th, but a mile was pretty tough. How do you think those are going to be affected?
I got to tell you, Jay, this is a really tough call for me, and I actually picked that race to talk about. So I am going to talk about the Filly Mare turf race. But here's the deal, especially with some of the top riders not being here, it's an impossible draw for those horses. However, especially the filly, she's so doggone good It's going to be really a difficult decision for folks to make. It's 4-5 shot that on tape looks incredible, on sheets looks incredible. It's Aiden O'Brien, who's the trainer that just is perhaps gonna even tie or break D. Wayne Lucas's record this Breeders' Cup. I mean, there's nothing to not like about this horse except the 14 hole, and I'm gonna play that race. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. And when we get to that race, because I'm gonna go over that race, there is a horse I like. I got to tell you, I would have never given this horse out. I would have never picked this horse because to me, that 14 or the 13 horse, I believe, I thought she was unbeatable when I watched the tape. I said, wow, this is one of the best horses I've ever seen come over from Europe at 2, and they're already at advantage with the racing from over there at 2, and the Americans don't look all that great.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, we're not going to talk too much about Steve's race, but is there some news that you learned about Precise that you might be able to share with the viewers?
Yeah, I got an interesting phone call today from Jay Hovde, formerly of the Racing Form, now with the Blood Horse, and he was out there this morning, as he is every morning, and he was watching the parade of the Aiden O'Brien horses, and it's really a very kind of spectacular show that they put on. They just go right behind each other, about 12 of them, in a kind of it really looks like a parade. It's very impressive. But they're right next to each other. And right when they passed Jay, the horse in front of Precise took a sidestep and then kicked back and kicked Precise in the head.
Ooh.
And he said it was a significant kick, like you could hear it, which is not good. It didn't seem to affect her. In other words, she continued on with her jogging and whatever she was doing.
Oh, good.
But I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Jay knows what he's talking about, and it was just a weird thing. I'm sure that rider will either be fired or is going to get a very stern talking to because that filly's worth a bunch of $1 million, and that wasn't what they were looking for this morning for sure. So, I mean, she's brilliant, but any little knock when you have that kind of post to me is just a little bit more of a question mark, as is the jockey, just because he's not ridden at Del Mar very much, if ever, which is tough. And there's a lot of pressure on him. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting that first day that both of them drew out there is, I don't know, what's probably a 70 or 80 to 1 shot for that to happen. But it happened, so they have to deal with it. You can win from out there if you're much the best. I think she's much the best. So be really interested to see. It might drive the price up a little. I think it did last year a little bit. But anyway, it'll be fun to see that first day.
Yeah, we're talking a scene out of the Karate Kid. Wow.
It was
So,
fun. Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. So, Steve, I don't think we had a better lead in. Why don't we move on to the juvenile Phillies turf, right?
We're gonna do that. Okay, I thought we were gonna do the Breeders' the classic first.
Oh
Okay,
no, we'll cap that off at the end.
sounds good. All right, hang on. I'm gonna rekey this up. Okay. So Breeders' Cup Philly turf race here, mile, a flat mile. Jay has already mentioned the outside post. Again, I couldn't be more impressed with Precise. Her races on tape are incredible. Her numbers on the sheets, I like to minus a few points when those horses come over in comparison. I think it's a really good way to do it. And whether you're looking at Ragozin or Thoroughgraph, she's already faster. And if you minus 3 points, which is, I think, the right number to minus, man, oh man, is this horse going to be tough. But that 13 hole and the fact that Semillion's riding is definitely a question mark to me. So here's what I'm going to do. I think the one horse has a good shot in here, and I think she could be overlooked. This horse is run at Laurel. We have had a horse win a juvenile turf race that ran at Laurel before. Horse paid about $50. It was about 8 or 9 years ago. This is a very, very good barn, the Michael Trombetta barn. This horse gets the rail, makes a great rider change to J.R. Velasquez. I think the price will drift up. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from this horse on tape. This to me looks like perhaps the Euros are in another league, but she looks like the second best horse to me, with the 13 being the best horse. So I'm going to bet this accordingly. I'm going to play the one to win, and then I'm going to play an exacta box with the 13. And then in the trifecta, and here's what you can do. You can play them first, second, and first, third. And that's the way I like to do it. So what I would do is play the trifecta 113 with 113 with all, and then play 113 with all with 113. They got to run first, second, and first, third. Again, it would be fantastic if we could get that 13 out of there. If the 13 is what I think she is, the only thing that's going to get her in the second and third spot is trouble. And there's a real good likelihood she's going to have it. So if the one can win, hey, let's take the win bet on the one just in case somehow the 13 gets a complete nightmare trip. You make a small win bet. But that's the way I like to play the try. So it's the one ultimate love is the win bet. And we're going to save and protect in here with the 13. And again, make sure you play them first and third as well. So it's 113 with 113 with all, 113 with all with 113 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly Turf Race.
Jason, any reaction?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful pick. I think that this horse is really, really interesting. And one thing I like that is very rare is this horse is all three races were 2 turns. They obviously liked her. They knew she was good. They didn't mess around sprinting. She's bred to go 2 turns. So they said, screw it. We're going to debut her at a mile, which is hard to do. She won easily. Then they went into a pretty easy non-winners of 1. She won by 7. And then they put her in the stake. And I watched that race twice. And I mean, he rode her like she's 10 lengths the best. And that's how she ran. I mean, he didn't ask her much at all. And when he did, she just kicked away like, okay, the race is over. So really good draw, saves ground, big jockey upgrade. I mean, she's a really, really interesting play. And I don't know what the odds are going to be. I think there'll be more than 8. I think there'll be 12, somewhere in there. Yeah, I think she's live. So, yeah.
Yeah, all I can say is you never throw out an undefeated horse. And this one's speed figures are accelerating, getting better with every race. I don't think we've seen the top of Ultimate Love. So, Steve, like your chances. I think that's a value play.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. So we've just talked about the juvenile Phillies turf, but Jason, I think you wanted to talk about the juvenile.
The juvenile. Hold on 1 second. Let me get it right here. Yeah. Um, this one is, yeah, I just thought this was interesting. When I went through it and I watched the tapes, the Todd Pletcher horse is extremely impressive. Ted Nafi, 4-5 on the morning line, and has been brilliant in 3 races. But and I will be playing against this horse. The horse that he beat last time is number 2, Blackout Time. And one thing I've learned over the years, and it's been a lot of years, I'm not going to say how old I am, but we've talked about this a lot. We've been around for a while. 2-year-olds this time of year can really improve in a month. They can just keep going. And I think Blackout Time, he had a little bit of a break after his first 2 races, ran very well last time to be second. And if he improves, let's say 2 lengths, and Ted Nafi goes backwards a length, he beats him. And Ted Nafi is going to be even money. This horse, I think, is going to be 7 or 8 to 1. I know the trainer is very, very high on him. And I watched that last race a couple of times, and he had to wait a little bit. He was behind horses. The other horse got the jump on him. He wasn't going to beat him, but I think he can beat him on Friday. I really do. The other horse to worry about, I think, is Brant for Bob Baffert, but he's only sprinted, and the Baffert thing is changed the last few years. His horses going 2 turns do not find that extra gear. We don't have to go down that road too far, but that extra gear was there for a long time. The last 2 or 3 years, it's not been there. They get run down all the time. That never, ever happened. Now it happens all the time. So I'm playing that's going to happen again. Brant will be there, he'll be on the lead or battling, and he's going to get run down. So I think the 2 is a very interesting play here. I'm hoping for 7 or 8 to 1. I'm hoping he continues improving. His thoroughgraph pattern is really nice. It says to me he's going to jump forward a little bit, and if he does, he's dangerous.
No question about it. So Brandt, showing speed at 7 furlongs, made every pole a winning one. Ted Nafi, stretching out to a mile and a 16th, also was very prominently placed. Can you envision a speed duel?
Uh, yeah, yeah, it could happen. 2-year-olds, they don't always relax. So I hope so. I think that'd be great. I'd love to see the two sit just behind them. The Ted Nafi did relax a little bit last time behind a horse, which actually was a Baffert horse. So I don't know that there'll be a speed duel, but they both like to be up near the front, and I hope that they go a little too fast for their own good.
Oh, Steve, any reaction?
Well, Brand has a really funky stride away about him. Jason Brand's a paddler, isn't he? He's got these. I mean, for what, $3 million? I want to get that right. $3 million horse that runs where he runs where his legs go way outside. Wow, but he runs fast. I'm not going to disagree with that 2 turn, and I don't. I think there's a lot of horses in here that look like they could go for the lead. So I like you. I like the fact that your two is going to sit. I haven't made a final decision in this race of where I'm going to land. But I can't knock you on this horse. Ted Nafi was very good, and maybe those are the three horses to look at. But certainly at that price, that trainer has been so very good in these big races the last couple of years. Derby winner, had the horse of the year last year. I mean, he's just going right.
He
I think
is.
he just felt like he's achieved everything, so all the pressure's off the barn. I think that's a big deal, and there's no reason that this horse can't go forward today. So
Yeah.
I promise you, the rest of the show, if you guys say somebody I don't like, I'm going to say it, but I do like that horse.
Yeah, and I'll add the thing about Brandt that they got the guy to pay $3 million for him after watching him run is one of the all-time sales jobs in the history of sport. And not horses, just sales in general in any field. That is absurd. You have to like stay a full length away from Brandt because his back leg goes so far out to the side. It's
Isn't it scary? I mean, it's actually scary. It really looks like this horse could have something bad happen to him. I mean, I
I,
can't say it, but I mean, because I'm all for safety. This whole safety thing has been great, but this horse really looks the way his leg goes. It's like, what is that?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Friday. He's fast. He's at home. He's 2 for 2 at Del Mar. I'll give him that. His only 2 starts were at Del Mar. He won both, so that's a nice advantage for him. If he can, stretch that speed 2 turns and beat this field, then he's the 2-year-old champ and good for him. So I think he's going to get bet too. So I'm looking to beat them both.
Okay, and hopefully we will, because obviously they'll pay, either one of them is going to pay peanuts. And I think yours is going to drift up, Jason. I think just, based on the last race, I think you're going to get a better price than what you're seeing on the morning line.
Yeah, I think so. Doesn't take much to flip that after that last race.
Yeah. Okay, and I will close out our coverage of the Friday races. I'm going to hit race 6, which is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. A bunch of quality Euros here. I think that most of the viewers, we used to call them listeners, but now they're viewers, are used to the fact that the Euros tend to dominate these turf races. And certainly there's a qualified European contingent here. The favorite here is going to be is number 9, True Love, and I think he'll be bet down significantly below that 7-2. I don't think you're going to get that if you like True Love. And I watched a lot of tape for the horses in this race. And I saw that last race with Havana Anna. That race, the Chivalry Park Stakes, was run on a straightaway. It was run at Newmarket, which was one of the better tracks there, maybe the second best track in England after Ascot. And True Love came to the lead, and then Havana Anna, drawn just inside of True Love, came to her, and then True Love just turned her away and went a little bit farther on a straightaway race. But now they're going they're going a turn. 2 turns will be a while away. But are they going to perform the same going a turn? We don't know. It's always unpredictable when straightaway horses, young horses like this, go to a turn, or when 1 turn horses try 2 turns for the first time. It's never always the same, and you can get value that way. But there's one that we know that there's at least one that we know that not only has gone 2 turns and done it well, but has actually competed with these Euros, and that's number 12, Lenny Liu. From Patrick Biancone, Luis Saez back aboard. You'll notice Lenny Liu won impressively, breaking his maiden or her maiden at Keeneland, and then tried the turf at Gulfstream Park, thrown into a stakes, and won nicely in that stakes race. Off the strength of that, Patrick Biancone tried to emulate Wesley Ward and some others, George Weaver, and sent her overseas to a big Grade 2 in Ascot, the Queen Mary, and finished just behind True Love, not very far, a mile and 3/4, going straight 5 furlongs. Then came back and then ran again nicely on the dirt. And then after that, tried a turf sprint around 2 turns and won nicely, drawing away at the end. So we know Lenny Liu is somebody that can really handle 2 turns. But what really impresses me is in terms of the early pace. Early pace horses win this race at a 47% clip. So you want to be in the front at Del Mar going 5 furlong distance. And Lenny Liu has easily the best turf fraction off that last Gulfstream race, a 43 flat, and that just a length off it. So we'll say 43-1 for Lenny Liu. Nobody's run that fast going early in this race. That doesn't mean that some of these Euros can't go that fast, but they haven't proven it yet. So at 8-1, really think that's a nice, generous price on Lenny Liu. I think this one's going to pop the gate, and we'll see if this time she can hold off True Love and Havana Anna and some of these others trying a turn for the first time. In terms of the exotics, we'll play a couple of tickets here because it's the Breeders' Cup. This is why we've been saving our money. So, of course, we'll wheel the exacta. We'll do a 12 with all and all with 12. And then we're going to use 4 horses in the trifecta. And we'll throw a fifth one just for fun's sake into the third slot. So, we're going to play it like so. We're going to play the following horses in the trifecta. We're going to use number 1, Brussels, from those connections, Aidan O'Brien and Christophe Sommillon. Finally, they don't draw the parking lot. They've actually got a rail post here, so good for those guys. We'll also use a horse that just finished behind that one, and that's number 4, Aspect Island. James Owen is 1-for-1, 100% wins coming over here. And Aspect Island was just 3/4 of a length behind Brussels. I think he's got to be in the mix. We'll use the 2 that'll be bet down. That's number 8, Havana Anna, number 9, True Love. I think you'll get that for either one of them. I'm not really crazy about the rider change from Ryan Moore to Wayne Lordan. Wayne Lordan, in my opinion, is not quite as good as Sommillon. So he's maybe Aidan O'Brien's third string rider, but Ryan Moore broke his leg. What are you going to do? And then finally, we're going to use in the third slot only because it's Charlie Appleby. How can I not use Charlie Appleby in a trifecta? Number 2, Military Code. He hasn't really impressed as much on class. He's been facing easier competition, but I cannot not use him, so we'll use him in the third slot. So the trifecta is as follows. We're going to play a 1, 4, 8, 9, 12 with 1, 4, 8, 9, 12, and then throw Military Code number 2 in the third slot. That gets your ticket up from $30 to $40 and worth it. So it's 1, 4, 8, 9, 12 with 1, 4, 8, 9, 12 with 1, 2, 4, 8, 9, 12.
All right.
What do you guys think?
Well, I want to comment on a couple things. One is the favorite in here, True Love. I did watch her race, and I do want to make a comment on her. She's big. She's a big filly, and I think she's going to have a tough time with the tight turns. So I think there's a little chance of beating her. In fact, Lenny Liu is a filly. These are boys and girls, and to me, there's no difference. So I really like your pick that it's a filly. That makes zero difference to us. We've talked about it for years on our radio show at 2, especially on the turf. This is no big deal at all, and that is fine with me. I have a little bit different pace figures than what you have. I would be concerned early. If she could sit lapped on the lead or cross and clear, I think she can win. Her races are good on tape. And I have seen her in the mornings. I've watched the morning workout show a few times, and she looks really good. So I'm not going to knock your Lenny Lou, but I do think True Love is beatable in here. And I really feel pretty good about playing against this horse. I see the race a little differently, Jay. If your horse gets loose or she's sitting lap second, I think you got a big shot. But if there's 4 or 5 across the track, then this race could become a big closer race, even though I know your percentages and you're right on with that. This is it can be very speedy, this 5 furlong situation. And I think that's going to be the key for Lenny Lou.
Jason?
Yeah, she's got every chance in here. She ran great over in Europe, came back and ran great. So she's obviously doing very, very well. I just thought it was a really wide open race, really difficult race. You need a price in here. I think so many of these horses can win, and Trip is going to be huge. I would note that Havana Anna, who just missed to True Love, as you mentioned, is trained by Aidan O'Brien's son. Donica O'Brien. So they're going to be going at it here. And I think those two are going to be very tough in the middle of the pack. They both have speed. I think they'll both be right up near the front. I don't know about the one Brussels. I think that's a tough draw. He has speed, but boy, if you don't get out there, you're done. So yeah, I just thought this was a really, really tough race, and I couldn't really pick one horse. So Lenny Lou absolutely has a big chance, and I think you get a nice price. I think you get at least 8-1 on her, if not more. I think she'll float up. I think they'll bet the Europeans pretty hard.
There have been a little steam on her in the morning show, and
Well,
maybe
because it's being Cohn's daughter, right? Yeah.
because it's her daughter, and they've been showing. I mean, and the good news is she looks terrific, looks absolutely terrific. So I'm not saying that maybe in a negative way, but just to try to figure the price. If I would have looked before, Jason, I would have been in agreement with you. But with all the steam on the morning show, a lot of people watching that show, maybe she holds her price, which obviously to you, Jay, that would be okay, right? 8-1, you're good with that?
I think I can live with 8-1, Steve.
There you go.
Yeah.
All
Hit
right.
the trifecta with 8-1 on top, you'll be fine.
Exactly. So that concludes the Friday card coverage, but we don't have Jason Levin on the show every week. So we're going to touch on a couple of aspects of the Saturday card, including the one that everyone cares about most, the Breeders' Cup Classic. But first, Steve, I think we have something we want to hear about from one of our sponsors.
We do, Jay, and I don't have the information in front of me. That's how prepared I am. And I'm sure our sponsor is going to really feel good about that. But it's Casino House Parties. We want to thank them. This is a place that if you live in Southern California, if you're out in the desert, out in Palm Springs, San Bernardino area, all of Los Angeles County, all of San Diego County, and anywhere in between, Casino House Parties. Check their website out, casinohouseparties.com. They can bring the casino to your house if you want to play craps, blackjack, poker, roulette, pai gow. We've got it all. And casinohouseparties.com. The code for getting $50 off is Saddle Up 50. Use the code Saddle Up 50 when you call them or in the computer, and you'll get a $50 reduction off your first booking. And again, really nice people, and they're really filling up for Christmas time. If you want to have a Christmas party and you want to have a crap table, or you want to have a roulette wheel at your house, you're going to want to do that soon. And remember the code Saddle Up 50, and they'll get you $50 off of your first booking.
Excellent. So before we hit the classic, Jason, I know there's a horse that you mentioned to me privately that you think something of her chances. And I have this tape queued up. And since you're here today, rather than save this for the Saturday show, which will be dropping Friday, let's take a look at it now, just because I know you think something of this horse. We're going to show the stretch run of the Arc de Triomphe. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we can just watch that stretch run for a minute. And then, Jason, I'll ask you for your comments. Give me a second. I'm still not smooth at this stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's an hour just to get started today, but that was my fault, actually.
No problem. So there we go with the share. There we go with my screen. Whoops. Come on, come on. All right. There it is. And now the stretch run of the Arc de Triomphe.
This is the home turn. Quadinor is in front. Hot as Hell is in second place. Mini Hawk, purple and white colours, delivering the challengers to me on now. Kalpana coming on the extreme right. Darius has been switched out for a run. Byzantine Dream on the left against the rails has a chance. 300 metres to go. It's Mini Hawk who shows in front. Darius in second. Fighting on behind these. Giavaletto, Byzantine Dream running on into the closing stages. The purple jacket in front is Mini Hawk. The green colours of Darius nearest to us is coming with the challenge to throw it down. Darius and Barcelona have won the after Mini Hawk. And then Sosi, Giavaletto, Byzantine Dream. And over behind those was Arrow Eagle, and they're followed by White Birch, and then Hot as Hell. Aventure's beaten very few home. Aloe Ahi was behind her, and then the last one of them to get over the line.
Jason, she almost got there. I'm sure you were watching the race. What did you think of Minnie Hawk's performance?
I thought it was brilliant, and she lost, which is good for the Breeders' Cup. You don't want to win the ARC and come over, so it worked out great. She's brilliant. She's had one of the best years you'll ever see a filly have over there. She's won every race you're supposed to win, and almost won that one. I mean, you can't come any closer than that. Maybe he moved a little bit early. Maybe you could say he went for it a little too soon, but. Yeah, she's phenomenal. And I think one of the big keys to the race on Saturday is that she gets 7 pounds from the boys. And when she's just as good as they are, her form is as good as anybody in the race, and she's going to get 7 pounds going 3 turns. I've learned over the years that's a big advantage. So I think she's going to be extra tough. She appears to be in great shape. They're very high on her. She has good tactical speed. There's really no knocks. She's had kind of a long season, but I don't see really a knock on her at all. She's just a brilliant filly. She's done everything they wanted them to do except win the ARC, and she came as close as she can. So she's the one to beat, and I think she's going to be very, very tough.
Yeah. Steve, any reaction?
I'm not going to react to this one. I'm going to let it go. There is a horse in there that I think has a good chance to beat her. I think Rebels Romance is going to be extremely tough, and it very well could be a $9 or $8 exacta with those two with Mini Hawk, because she's looked fabulous. I don't have any knocks on a horse coming back to win his 3rd Breeders' Cup. It's a 7-year-old. I'll tell you something about 7-year-olds. There's a lot of them running in this year's Breeders' Cup. It's hard to believe how many there are. It really is kind of unusual, but Rebels Romance is an unusual horse. Those two are going to be really tough. You're going to really need to be on your game to beat both of them is going to be difficult. Jason makes a great point about the weight. I think going 3 turns, it does make a difference. And I think being a filly, again, we're talking about fillies against the boys. That means absolutely nothing. These fillies can beat the boys going long on the turf, going short on the turf, like you guys have both talked about. Fillies could be very, very tough. And, guys that are saying, and guys and gals that are saying the girls can't beat the boys, dirt routes are different things. They get a little bit harder. I just don't think it makes a difference on the turf. And sprinting on the turf or long on the turf, I like the girls a lot against the boys.
Okay. Well, it should be an exciting race, and we'll see if there's any competition. I mean, she has the potential to run away from that field, and we'll see if somebody can keep up with her. Rebels Romance clearly is a horse that runs toward the front. Minnie Hawk is not far from the pace, but she's not a pace setter. I think Minnie Hawk will be in the right position, and we'll see how good she is against a tough field of males, because she's
Certainly has the pace to chase there too, because there's going to be speed in this race.
Yeah.
Last year there was a little bit lacking. There's plenty of speed in this race. There's a couple horses that really look like they could go fast in here. So she's going to get plenty of pace.
No question about it. But she was already tested for class. She spent most of her career against other 3-year-old fillies, and then she finally took on a big field of boys and almost got there. And we'll see if that 1.5 miles, that last couple of steps, is something that she can manage. Because realistically, this field, as good as it is probably a bit of a downgrade from the ARC. So.
That's a big downgrade from the ARC. This is I think the Urals are going to run 1, 2, 3 here. They usually do, and I don't see any reason why they won't here. I think Goliath is legitimate threat in here. So, and the 3-year-old who's drawn inside is also a runner. So I really wouldn't be surprised if they're in 1, 2, 3, 4 at all.
No
I
question.
hate to say it, but I mean, the American turf horses, every year we get a little bit worse, and we haven't had anybody competitive in this race in the last few years. And the horses that have been running over here that are running in this race are, if one of them runs in the top 3, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, all agreed. So now comes the time we've all been waiting for, the big feature race of the weekend, the Breeders' Cup Classic. An illustrious field made just a little less illustrious. We'd heard that Sovereignty was spiking a fever earlier in the week, and then unfortunately they had to go ahead and they weren't going to take a chance with a horse that valuable, and Sovereignty has been scratched from the Breeders' Cup Classic. So before we drill down on the individual competitors that remain, how do you think that changes the complexion of the race, Jason?
Well, I don't think it changes the running of the race at all. I think it puts a little more pressure on some of the other guys. Now the big horse is out, so there's one less excuse for them. I think it's wide open. He was the one to beat. He looked amazing, and I think Karma caught up with them. I think passing the Preakness was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Sportsmanship that was disgusting. And here we are. So, when they're healthy, run. You don't know if you're going to stay healthy. And he was healthy. He should have run. He would have won the Triple Crown. He had a rivalry with journalism. It was all there. And they just passed it. And they didn't even say anything about it. They were just like casual, like, whatever. We don't want to do it. And I thought that was just one of the worst things I've ever seen in horse racing. In 40 years, that was the way they did it. Like, it didn't even matter. Like, they talked about it for like a day. And then Belmont was like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. We're good. We're going to the Belmont. Like, that was normal. And you have this great, amazing horse. And here you go. And now you get a fever and you're out. I probably shouldn't say it, but screw you. You messed with it. You did the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, and you paid a price. And this is the price. You ship out. This horse was in all the little Belmont barns. He was wrapped in bubble wrap the whole year. That's fine. They have to ship cross country. He gets sick and he's out. So, karma. I just feel like when you mess with the gods like that, sometimes you pay a price. This is the price. So screw him. He's out. We're moving on. It's a really competitive race. I actually am a little short on time. So if I can go first, I can't really go horse by horse, but there's just a couple things I wanted to say about the beginning of this race.
Okay.
It's going to be, I think, fascinating because Fierceness drew the rail, which obviously was the last thing that they wanted for obvious reasons. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens with him breaking from the rail. It kind of has to go. He ducked in last time. They don't know what he's going to do this time. Right next to him is Baeza. So he's in a tough spot. I think he's going to take back because next to him is Nevada Beach for Baffert. And he's going to go. And he kind of has to. So he's going to hustle out of there. And next to him is the Rabbit, contrary thinking, in the 4-hole. So he's in there to go. And I just think the beginning of this race is going to be a scramble, and somebody's going to get screwed. I don't know who it is. Maybe Baeza. I think the horses drawn outside catch a break here. Outside is fine going 1.25 miles at Delmore, as Steve said. You get out in the middle of the track and you're in good shape there. So I just think the beginning of this race is fascinating, the way the draw came up. And I really don't have a play yet. I don't know. I have to go back through the race again and see. So I don't have a play. I think it's a great classic. I think there's 4 or 5 horses that can win and would not surprise me at all. And I don't like that they put it in the middle of the card. Again, I think that's just insane, but that's where it is. So yeah, I'm excited and really looking forward to seeing how this race plays out. The Japanese horse has a big chance. Sierra Leone has a big chance. Mindframe, journalism. I guess the last thing I'll say is I think it's a big jockey upgrade on journalism. Reese Bali he was trying to get kicked off the horse. I just think he made a lot of mistakes over the course of the year. Jose Ortiz is a classy rider. He's having a great year. and I think that's going to move the horse up. I really do. I think he moves up a length or two. Recently, I just don't think he figured him out. I really don't. And he got him in some trouble, and I don't think Ortiz is going to do that. So looking for a big effort from him. Uh, I appreciate you guys giving me the time. I have to sign off.
Got it,
But
Jason. Thanks
it
for
was,
joining us, buddy. We appreciate it.
it
All
was
right,
great.
Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Thank you
really,
for joining Saddle Up with Steve and Jay, and hopefully sometime down the road we'll see you back.
yeah, you will. Absolutely. And the best of luck to everybody out there. These guys are the best. So, you should hang on every word.
All right.
You guys enjoy, and best of luck to everybody on both days.
All right. Thanks,
Take care,
Jason. You
Jason.
too.
Okay.
All right, Steve. Well, I guess we get horse by horse all to ourselves.
Man, how about that?
That's okay. More horses for us.
I got to say, Jason put it really well. The way that the beginning of this race is, I think it's really important. I don't think Baeza is going to be as involved as he does, but I do think Nevada Beach and Contrary Thinking is obviously going to go. And this couldn't be worse for the favorite to me. And you know what? Fierceness doesn't show up every once in a while as it is. But anyway, I think Jason put that in a very good way. I second everything he said about the start of this race.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm not sure that Nevada Beach can keep up early. That would be the one area where I'd probably vary a little bit from what Jason said. I think he'll be in the front flight, but I'd be surprised if he was in, say the top three. I know
Yeah.
he's way he's drawn, he has to go, but I just don't think he has as much early speed as some of these others.
Yeah, if it shakes down that the Contrary Thinking clears and Fierceness is a loose second, and all of a sudden he gets to the outside, and then all of a sudden he's in a great spot. So anyway, I could see that shaking down, but it's definitely not a good draw for him.
All right. Well, Steve, why don't you kick it off with the rail horse, a horse that you're very familiar with, a horse that drew the rail last time on this track at this distance. The new morning line favorite with Sovereignty out, number one, Fierceness. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to say that the field in his last race, the more I look back at it, and obviously it's easy to do hindsight, but that was a very, very suspect field. It was a 2-horse race with a 1-5 shot and an 8-5 shot. And I think journalism, to me, ran like a horse that was over the top in that race and has had too many races in that Triple Crown. And I think the race that Fierceness ran, certainly on sheets, he didn't move way forward. He just ran against a lot worse horses, and it looks a lot better than what it actually was. And the fact that he's drawn the rail again. And then the other thing is the race before that in the Whitney, when he had the bug in that race, and that was Contrary Thinking, he did not fire in that race. And he's had 3 times that he's just not shown up. I think he's a vulnerable favorite. And I think we can beat Fierceness today. Although when he's on his game, he's as good as anybody in this race. I'm going to try to beat him.
All right. Steve, I think he learned a lot from that. He had that trouble where he ducked in the beginning and then nevertheless recovered nicely and went on to basically, duel with some other horses, put them away fairly handily without too much trouble. And then journalism was never really a threat. Fierceness looked dominant after that early trouble. I think he's a big factor in here. And, I can't imagine not putting him in my top three. On top, that's another matter, but we'll see. Number two, Biza. John Sheriff's Hector Barrios return on this one. Barrios got the mount back after losing the mount to Flavian Pratt for the Triple Crown. And really, who can blame anybody for, putting Flavian Pratt on their Triple Crown horse? But Flavian was going to be based back east for the most part. Hector's out here where he can, ride him in the morning and train him. So Hector's got the mount back and he's got him today. Certainly, he was no match for Sovereignty in 3 races, including 2 Triple Crown races. He ran creditably for a horse that experienced, but never really touched him. He was also not really a threat to journalism. It seemed like in the Pennsylvania Derby, we saw a different horse. Certainly it was a much easier field, and maybe that had something to do with it. Hector got him to relax in that one. He'd been up close in some of the races. In that one he took back. I think that style benefited him. I think Flavian took him back more, and I don't know if that was really the cause why he couldn't touch Sovereignty in those Triple Crown races. I just think Sovereignty is that much better. But frankly, in their head-to-head matches, journalism was better too, and journalism certainly has reason why he's going to improve today. So it's hard to picture Baeza winning, but at 15-1, and considering he was pretty close to some very high quality horses, including perhaps the best horse in the country who won't be running on Saturday, I think Baeza's got a chance to hit the board. I can't see him winning.
I give him a chance as well, Jay. I'll give you the numbers on this horse on Ragas, and he ran 7-7, 7-7, and then he finally made a forward move at Parks to a 4. And that at Parks is a big deal to me. I've always kind of thought this, and it kind of bit me in the you know what one year at Santa Anita when a horse won that came from Parks. And I do watch the Parks races very carefully because those are Breeders' Cup prep races. But he moved forward to a 4, and it's a Parks 4. And that's kind of the range that you're going to need to run to be competitive in this race. I know that the trainer is really confident in this horse. I have a little inside information on that, and I know that they really like this horse. I don't. I'm going to pass on that Parks number. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's maybe my 4th or 5th horse in here, but I think there are 3 better horses, and I'm going to pass on Baeza.
All right, Steve, Nevada Beach, one of your past upset picks in the Goodwood. And you got a nice price on him that day. What are his chances today against this top quality field?
I think he's overmatched in here. I think he kind of caught Full Serrano at the right distance in that day. Maybe that's a little further than Full Serrano wants to go. It was a very impressive effort. He did move way forward. This horse has improved in all 4 of his starts. It's Baffert. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I think there's some really nice horses in here, and I'm not going to put him in my top 3.
All right. Number 4, Contrary Thinking. Yes, the 50-1 odds are justified. Yes, he is a pass today. At the most, Contrary Thinking could hang on and get a share of the super high 5 if nobody goes with him, which is unlikely. So yeah, you're not supposed to waste $1 on this guy today. However, I just wanted to point out this horse has been basically misused as a rabbit for Sierra Leone. He's a better horse than that. He's been put in situations that he's not ready for. This is a non-winners of one allowance horse. And when, this Sierra Leone rabbit stuff is finally over and he qualifies again for a non-winners of 2, you're going to get a price on Contrary Thinking. And at that point, that's the point you want to jump in. He's a better horse than he's shown. He's just, nowhere near these horses today.
I have nothing positive to add about that horse. He's there to show the way. There was a horse that did this in the very first Breeders' Cup. For those of you who weren't there, I was there. I was there at Hollywood Park, and there was a horse named Mugatea that was a rabbit for a horse named Slew of Gold, who was the favorite in the race. And what was crazy about the race is this horse did duel with the 2 speedsters, and he did bury the Precisionist, who was a great horse that a lot of you may have heard of or that you saw run if you're a little bit older. But he didn't bury Wild Again, and they went in a 3-way speed duel, and Wild Again kept going. So it didn't work for Slew of Gold, and he ended up in a box at the end of the race and ended up getting in trouble because of it. But it's a very unusual situation. To me, I don't think it should be allowed because you're putting someone else in the race. I think it should be, if you're a closer and there's not enough pace for you to win. So I don't like it. But I don't like anything about Contrary Thinking. He's just there to show the way. What you're talking about later on down the road is very valid, because if this horse ever got loose against some weaker horses, he could be gone and he could be a price. But that situation, who knows if that'll come up. But I'm definitely passing on him.
All right, Steve. I think you might have an opinion on number 5, Forever Young, the Japanese invader trying us again.
Yeah, I do. I don't want to go too far out of the way. This is a very, very talented horse, but this horse is 7-2, and I've had some friends and I've had some people that are just telling me that you can bet as much money as you want on this horse, he's winning. And I'm like, really? And they said, oh my God, the trouble that he had last year. So I want to start there. Watch the trip from last year and tell me when he had trouble. He had a perfect trip on the rail, which is difficult to do. I thought it was a really good ride. And yes, the horse was speedy. He was up close and no one else really lasted, but he was not running at all at the end. And I think it was a good race. I don't think it was like, oh my God, he had so much trouble. I didn't see the trouble, and I watched it a couple times. So that's number one. Number two is this. I've heard so much talk about his race 3 races back and how good that was. On the sheets, this horse has run since he was early 3-year-old 666, 876, 366. So he's never really gotten past the 6 except the 1-3, which was 3 races ago, which was overseas. And that race was a 1-turn race. That's a really tricky distance. This horse was cutting back, and maybe the race, I mean, ran really well in there, but if that's his best race, he hasn't cracked that 6 going 1.25 miles. Almost every horse in this race has already done that. Maybe not at 1.25 miles, but on sheets, even Nevada Beach has run a faster number than that. So to me, this is a horse that certainly is, I'm not going to be shocked if I'm wrong here, but I am going to leave this horse off of my tickets. And I think that he can be beaten today.
Yeah, there's no question he can be beaten. He's a quality horse. He was right there last year to Sierra Leone and Fierceness, but not quite up there. Sierra Leone ran right by him. He couldn't catch Fierceness, who was ahead of him. He fits in the best company. But then you look at some of the other races that he's run, especially look at the Dubai World Cup. He was behind Hit Show and Mixto, who are arguably, probably at best, grade 2 winners over here. I think they both won a grade 1, but really they're not going to beat top horses. And Forever Young couldn't quite catch them. He didn't have the best trip that day, but nevertheless, you would think that he could handle horses like that if he's going to be a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. I'm considering him for my top 3 when we get to the end of this, but he won't be my pick on top. Next up, number 7, Sierra Leone. Flavian Pratt, of course, sticks with this one, and obviously, with Flavian sticking here, it just didn't make sense to keep him on Baeza because eventually they were going to show up against each other, and obviously we know which one Sierra Leone was going to pick. Flavian was going to pick. He was going to go with his Breeders' Cup Classic winner and Eclipse Award winner, and not Baeza. And this horse is obviously he's an icon for needs a pace, which is why contrary thinking is in here just to guarantee it. Does he get the pace today? It's hard to say. We know that Sierra Leone likes Del Mar. We know he can close from off a fast pace like he did last year, and he can win this race. Is he the most likely one to win this race because he needs things to go his own way? And some of these others can make their own race, and this guy is kind of dependent on the pace setup, unless he's just that much better at Del Mar. Yeah, I don't know that Sierra Leone is going to be my top pick, but when I look at that 8-1 price, it's like, that's an overlay. 8-1.
27-2 on the new morning line, Jay.
Oh, is he?
The morning line, yeah.
Wow, they
New
really
morning
corrected
line.
that one down.
And Forever Young 7-2, Sierra Leone 7-2, Fierceness is 5-2, Beza 10-1, Nevada Beach 20, Contrary Thinking is still 50, Mind Frame is 6, Journalism's 5, and Antiquarium is 10, for those of you that don't have it.
Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed they would have corrected it that much. But so much for the great overlay. At 7-2, chances are he'll probably go down a little bit from there and probably go off 3-1-ish, I would guess. Considering that this guy needs help and some of the others don't need help, I don't know that Sierra Leone's going to pick on top. I think he might well be one of my top 3. What do you think, Steve?
I think he's going to get help. I mean, he's got a horse that's from the same trainer, and what they're going to do is they're going to tell that. I mean, that's why I don't like it, because this horse is in there for one reason. Contrary Thinking is not trying to win this race. And Florent Giroux, God bless him, he's going to get paid a few $1,000 to just go out there and send this horse go as fast as you can just to mess things up for the horses, for the other horses. So I don't know. I don't like the rule. I don't like it that you can do that in this race. I think you should have more of a qualification for this race. I like the extra horses in the race, but I think they're going to set the race up for Sierra Leone, and I think he's a big factor. The last time they put a bug in, he won. And, you know, with the fast pace on a track that he loves, he's a fresh horse. He's definitely a mile and a quarter horse. And I think he's going to be right there on the wire.
Yeah. All right, Steve. Number 8, Mind Frame. This is a horse you've supported in the past. What are his chances on Saturday?
Well, the reason I liked him in the Churchill Downs race, Jay, and he got bet that day, but the reason I really liked him that day was because of the 2 Triple Crown races that he ran. And here's what you're going to have to overcome with this horse. Texst of all, he got a spill last time, and it was one of the freakiest things you'll ever see. Just the way that he fell off this horse. And I remember you were texting me. You know, that was that early race, and I was totally unaware when they put those races early. I missed it live. And you texted me, oh my goodness, this horse, you know, lost the rider. You got to watch this. And it was crazy. I think I've watched it 6 or 7 times. In fact, Ortiz was actually almost looked like he was riding the other horse for a little while when he fell off of this one, but it was just a crazy, crazy spill. Mindframe's sheet and his races just looks like a horse that was absolutely on the improve, and I thought this was going to be the horse that could challenge Sovereignty at the end of the year, but he had this mishap. So you're going to have to calculate in there whether this mishap is something that's happening with this horse all the time. Because if you go back and you look at this horse's 2 losses before that, he blew it both times. One time he blew the turn, and the other time he blew the start. And now this horse had this incident where he bumped and lost rider. This is 8 starts for this horse. He's had 3 crazy things happen to him in 8 starts, but he's got 5 other wins. And he has cracked down to a 4 in that Churchill Downs race where he was very good, and he was very easily a winner that beat Sierra Leone on a track that generally having first run is a big deal. This guy was 10-1. Now he's only 6. You're getting Irad again, and you're getting Pletcher, and I think he's going to run a good race today. You know, whether he's going to hold these horses off that are coming from behind, I don't know, but I like his chances to run a good one today.
Yeah, Steve, I will say I watched that race carefully. This one, yeah, I don't think you can hold him accountable at all. This was, a case of Mexican trained dominoes, and unfortunately for Mindframe, he was the last domino near the rail.
Yeah.
So I watched it. I don't think it took anything out of him. Fortunately, it didn't take much out of Arad. I think he missed a day and he was back. So it wasn't really a bad mishap for him. The problem was he missed the training opportunity. That race was supposed to set him up perfectly at a mile and a quarter and get him legged up, and he lost that opportunity. So the question is he now legged up to go back to a mile and a quarter, which he hasn't done since last June when he just missed to Dornoch in the Belmont? And the answer is I don't know, but I can tell you this, there's nobody better even Baffert, there's nobody better than bringing horses off a layoff than Todd Pletcher. That is what Pletcher does. He's a master at it. So if there's anybody that can bring him this race with one less, real race under his belt than he was supposed to have, it's Pletcher. I give Mindframe a significant chance here, and we'll see if he's good enough. And then let's see. I think it's my turn on the next horse, and that is Journalism. And I certainly can't add much to what Jason Levin said about him. It was a very astute analysis. Uh, Journalism, it's hard to say how good he is because Sovereignty is clearly the better horse. But he wasn't better by that much, especially in the Derby. Journalism was a mile and a half off him. Journalism owns Baeza, and I can't imagine that Journalism's not going to finish ahead of him with the rider upgrade. And as good as Umberto Rispoli is, and he's certainly perhaps the best turf rider that rides out here regularly because we only get Flavian in the winter. And he's overall on the Del Mar Colony, he's a top 3 rider now over dirt and turf. But this is not the Del Mar Riders Colony that Humberto Rispoli will be running against today. And Jose Ortiz is a far more accomplished rider on both turf and dirt than Humberto is. So it's a huge upgrade for journalism here. And without sovereignty in the race, and as close as journalism was to sovereignty, could that make a difference? I think, again, like with Sierra Leone, he is, something. So he's a horse that kind of needs a pace setup, but with contrary thinking in the race, he's in there to benefit Sierra Leone, but it's going to help journalism too, as far as the other front runners in the race. So yeah, I think journalism improves, and he may be in my top three in a couple of minutes when we talk about that. Steve, what do you think?
Well, I mean, he doesn't need a setup. I mean, this horse has had tactical speed in his career, so he's going to be fine whether that rabbit is in there or not. But I think he's over the top. I really do. I'm looking at his sheet. He ran a 5 in the Santa Anita Derby, or he ran a 5 earlier than that in the race before that. Then he ran 9, 8, 8, and then he got to the good races where he ran a 5 and a 4. So he got to a 4 after that 5 this time, and then last time he ran an 8. He's the only one who ran in all 3 races in the Triple Crown. And I got to be honest with you, this horse was just out of gas last time, and they're trying to crank him up for this race. I think I don't think he's going to run good on Saturday. I think this is a go against for me. So he's not in my top 3. I'm passing on journalism.
All right, Steve, and finally, number 10, Antiquarian.
I don't know what to do with this horse, to be honest with you. He's got a great looking sheet. I mean, he just improves a little bit every time. And he won that crazy race, where he beat Sierra Leone last time, where Mindframe lost the rider. Is he good enough to win this one? I don't think so. I don't mind the outside post, but he's kind of got the tracking style that everybody has, and Saya's riding. I'm sure this horse will be up fairly close. Think he'll get a little bit of a wide trip. Everything on the sheets points to this horse running another good race today. I just don't love him, and he's just a borderline horse for me.
All right, well, let's see who you do like, Steve. It's time for your top three. I'll let you do your three first, and then I'll follow up with mine.
All right, I'm going to put Antiquarian third because I don't know where to put him, and a lot of the other price horses I don't like. But he's a distant third horse for me. I like 2 horses in here. A Sierra Leone is going to be my second horse. He's the horse to beat. He's going to get pace. I mean, Fierceness would be my other horse. I mean, realistically, does he have a better chance to win than Antiquarian? He does. But on a betting standpoint, I think he's going to either be in there or be completely out. And I'm going to go with completely out on a horse that I think I totally respect. I just think that today is not going to be his day. So Antiquarian 10 is my third horse. Sierra Leone is the horse to beat. He's a deep closer. He needs things to set up his way. And traditionally having first run on this racetrack is a good thing. So my first horse off of the losing the rider last time, I'm going to say that Mindframe is ready to go today, and he puts it all together. I always thought this horse was a really nice horse. I've heard very little steam on him, where I've heard a lot of steam on some other horses, like the steam I've heard on Forever Young and Baeza. So I think my price will hold on here. So for me, it's the 8 Mindframe to upset in the Breeders' Cup Classic on Saturday.
All right, I wanted to say one thing before I give out my top three. I forgot to add my comments on Antiquarian. And in that Jockey Club Gold Cup, I gave both Antiquarian and Phileas Fogg a shot. They were both in my pick four with Sierra Leone heading that field. And I just thought exactly what could have happened. I liked Phileas Fogg a little better. But obviously, things changed a little bit in that race, and Antiquarian ran a big one. So yeah, I think he fits in here. An upset win would be no surprise. But I will say that I do think that he's unlikely. He's somebody that I'd probably stretch more into a superfecta horse, top five horse maybe. I think a win might just be a little beyond his scope versus these. So first, my number three horse here, and that's number one, the new morning line favorite, Fierceness. I thought Fierceness really got some lessons here in Pacific Classic, and now he draws the exact same situation. the same track, the same distance, the same jock, and I don't think I think JR is going to really kind of point him away from that rail and make sure he doesn't duck in. He's going to be ready for that reaction this time. Yeah, I don't think Fierceness loves the rail, but the rail draw has not been historically awful here. In fact, the one race that we had last time was one from the rail, and that was Fierceness at these conditions. So I think Fierceness can do it. He's my third horse. My second horse here is your first horse, and that's number 8 Mindframe. I think the conditioning might cost him a little bit. He certainly has tactical speed. He can make the lead if he needs to. He's not going to get it here with contrary thinking, obviously. And the question is, can he avoid getting caught in a speed duel with contrary thinking? And the question is, yeah, I think he will answer that question. I think certainly with perhaps the best jock in the country still, year after year after year, on both turf and dirt. Yeah, I think Flavian's a little better on turf, but overall, I'll still take Arad over just about anybody else. I think Arad is a match for Juan Hernandez on the dirt, and he's way better than Hernandez on the turf. I just, he's a bit of a dirty rider. He makes these holes that he shouldn't make, and he's been suspended for them. But yeah, I'll take Arad over any time. So yeah, Mindframe is my number 2. Neither of one of us is going to be surprised. So the question is, who's going to be the number 1 horse here? And Steve, while I respect what you're saying about him being over the top, he ran a ton of races, danced a ton of dances back in the spring. I think Jose Ortiz is going to be a huge upgrade for him. This is a horse that was right off of Sovereignty. Sovereignty would obviously be the heavy favorite in here. And I think Jose's going to be in a much better spot than Umberto. I think there's sufficient pace to set it up, and I think he'll get first run on Sierra Leone, who is proven here. I hate to leave him off the card. I mean, I think Sierra Leone will certainly be no surprise if he's in the top 3, but you can only pick 3. And I am picking Journalism on top to win the Classic.
All right. Well, we disagree, and that's okay. You like him to win the race. I think he's one of the 2 good go against in the race. I'm surprised that you didn't go with Forever Young at all in your top 3. Listen, Fierceness is an obvious horse for the top 3. And again, on my sheet, I'm going to have him on there, but for purposes of the way I was going to line the race up, I would have used 4. And I don't really, I mean, again, to throw Fierceness out completely, I think he's going to run good again. I just have a feeling he's going to run 3rd or 4th in here today. And so again, we're in agreement on a lot of the horses, and I tend to agree with you putting up a Fierceness a little bit higher. That might be. I'm not that strong against him. I think you're right. He probably Velasquez will overcome the situation from the rail.
We'll see what happens, but it should be an exciting race. I like the fact that the big race is going to be competitive and there's no obvious favorite. Leads to the chance that there might be a price. And I think, Sovereignty being out of the race really opened the race wide open. Not that Sovereignty was any kind of a lock, but I do think he was the dominant horse this year. And I think he was a clear, deserving 6-5 favorite. So without him, I'm looking forward to the competition.
I'm going to be honest, I would have taken a shot with Mindframe anyway. I really think he had a chance to really go forward and challenge that horse. So it's a pretty strong pick for me on Mindframe still at the price that he's at. I just think that he's going to really show, what he could have done. And he could have won the Belmont very easily. He could have won both of those races that he lost last year. And I think the second one was it at Monmouth? Yeah, it was in the Haskell. And I just think that a little bit of bad acting cost him in both of those races. Otherwise, we would have been looking at an undefeated horse. And he really, really showed something on his sheet that he did move forward in that Stephen Foster, which is what I thought he was going to do. And again, a freak thing last time. He's coming back. And because of that, we're getting a price on a horse that I think is really solid to run a big race on Saturday.
All right. Steve, that is our Friday and a bit of Saturday preview, the most important bit. But we are going to be back. We had mentioned that we were going to do a couple of shows before the Breeders' Cup, and we're going to drop another show on Friday night. And Steve, despite the Dodgers losing 6-1 today,
Oh
I
my
have I,
goodness.
I have not lost faith. I will be wearing this shirt again for the Friday show.
Uh, I have no comment on that, Jay. I should be cheering and yelling for the. I mean, that's amazing that the Blue Jays are playing as well as they are. They're really coming together as a team. But I wouldn't count the Dodgers out yet at this point. The home and road thing just doesn't seem to be that big of a deal in baseball to me. You would think so, but the road team has won what all but one of the games now, or two of the games, I guess. The Toronto won one. So it's 3-2 road for home, and we'll see what happens in the next game. The Dodgers still have that deep starting pitching. They got to wake up with the bats.
Yeah, no question about it. So enjoy the Friday Breeders' Cup card, and we will see you again Friday night for a shorter show. But we're going to cover a few things on that Saturday card, drill down a little deeper that we didn't have time to get to today. So have a great Breeders' Cup Friday, everybody.
Have a great one.